Why is Stealth Rock so good? It does just a little bit of damage to entering Pokemon, and yet I see people throw away entire Pokemon just to use this move. Hell, it seems like every competitive Pokemon battle ever played uses this move. So what's the deal? The more time I spend with people just getting into competitive Pokemon, the more frequently I find myself answering this exact question. And don't get me wrong, it is a good question. Even with repeated buffs to Defog and Rapid Spin, this move remains ubiquitous in competitive play. I am by no means a pro player, or even arguably a very good one, but I do think about this question a lot, as it's kind of central to the idea of competitive Pokemon. So once again, why is Stealth Rock so good? The short answer? Switching is an extremely useful and safe move in Pokemon. Stealth Rock and other entry hazards like spikes, toxic spikes, and webs are the only guaranteed counter against these switches. The long answer? Well, bear with me, because for this I'm going to need to provide an example. Let's say that Red and Blue get into a Pokemon battle. They each have a Blastoise, Charizard, and Venusaur apiece. In the first turn, Red plays his Blastoise against Blue's Charizard. He uses the water moves to attack the fire type, but Blue switches to his grass type. Blue uses a grass move to attack the water type, but then he switches to a fire type. If they continue like this, they'll be playing forever because they aren't able to effectively punish the switches. The risk-reward ratio of switching to another Mon is too skewed. Now, of course, this is a pretty gross oversimplification of Pokemon. Blastoise could use a super effective Ice Beam against the Venusaur, Venusaur could use Sleep Powder to immobilize the Charizard, and Charizard could set up a substitute as a buffer against the Blastoise, although there are many examples of Pokemon who do just completely wall out others. But the primary fact is that switching remains an extremely good strategy, and the risks are generally lower than predicting a move against their other Mons. This is where Stealth Rock comes in. By clicking this one simple move, you permanently punish these switches. Stealth Rock does 12% damage to every Pokemon who swaps in. Sometimes it does less if the Pokemon resists Rock-type moves, but that also means it does more if they don't resist Rock-type moves. That's right, if you're a Fire, Bug, Ice, or Flying type, this doesn't just do 12%, it does a whopping 25%, a quarter of your health gone from a single swap. If a Pokemon has two of these typings, it loses 50% to every swap in. So Red's Blastoise has been switching on the Charizard every time. It's not taking 15% from every one of Charizard's flamethrowers anymore. It's taking 27%. Instead of it being an 8-hit KO, it's shrunken in half to a 4-hit KO. And that Charizard, well, it's unfortunate enough to be 4 times weak to Rock, and now can only switch in once before being killed by the rocks. This is a really important consideration if you're trying to sweep an enemy team. Let's say you have an Alakazam, and you notice it's faster than all of your enemy's Pokemon. Normally, a standard Alakazam Psychic isn't enough to KO all of their team from full health. If you play a whole game against them, get them to shuffle in their Pokemon a bit, and take enough Stealth Rock chip damage, all of a sudden you've got them all in range of a sweep. By the way, the importance of Pokemon weak to Stealth Rock can't be underestimated. Volcarona, one of the most fearsome setup sweepers to be used in mainstream Pokemon, was mainly balanced out by the fact that it took 50% from Stealth Rocks. To a lesser extent, the same goes for other threatening Pokemon like Salamence, Gyarados, Zapdos, Dragonite, and most recently, Galarian Darmanitan. So you can see that skewed risk-reward ratio for switching to other Pokemon very noticeably shifts after clicking this one move. Instead of being able to switch between your Mons infinitely, you put the whole game on a timer. Even if you never attack and do nothing but switch, you have to die eventually. The very core of a luck-dominated game like competitive Pokemon is evaluating the risk and reward of every action, and Stealth Rock adds a permanent tick to the risk column of every interaction. This makes getting your rocks up extremely important. Pokemon that can use Stealth Rock are coveted. Currently, Seismitoad is extremely saturated in the Sword and Shield meta because his bulk and typing means he can usually get up Stealth Rocks with little difficulty. Rocks are also joined by other moves like Spikes, Toxic Spikes, and Webs. However, these are generally regarded to be not as good because they don't punish flying or levitating Pokemon and lack that instant gratification of getting Stealth Rocks up with one easy move. They're still great, don't get me wrong, they just aren't as universal as Stealth Rocks. We call all of these moves entry hazards. As a result, the next most important aspect of Stealth Rocks is removal of these entry hazards. Yeah, that crappy move Rapid Spin that you always thought sucked as a kid was one of 2 ways to remove Stealth Rocks. And as a result, you often see a lot of Rapid Spin Pokemon like Starmie or Excadrill in Pokemon teams. The other form of hazard removal is Defog, which as of Generation 6 removes all hazards from both sides of the field. This of course is a double-sided sword, as you lose your own rocks, but at least it can be used against ghost types, a quality that Rapid Spin lacks. There's of course a great deal more nuance to the subject, and I'm sure that much better players than me are already shaking their head at all the exceptions and qualifications to what I just said. If you're a new player just starting out, I hope this video gives some insight into the move, and maybe now you can understand why so many people are dying to get this move up. Hey, thanks so much for watching the video and the whole way through. If you're still here, maybe you'd like to consider liking the video or subscribing to the channel. Also, I've started streaming on Twitch. If you'd like to see some of these concepts in action, or even want to ask me a question about yourself, make sure to come check out the stream. Also, if there's any other competitive Pokemon concepts that you'd like to see explained, let me know in the comments below. I had a ton of fun making this video, and I'd love to answer any questions you guys might have.